I have survived the world's unhealthiest diet, and it almost killed me. This is actually a confession. I consumed, and I'm not kidding, 12 donuts without even the thought that it was going to affect my blood sugar. I didn't even know about blood sugar at the time. Now, of course, if I did that now, I would just be a basket case. But my entire childhood was filled with sugar, starch, seed oils, sweetened cereals every single morning. Every Halloween, I would consume the entire amount of candy that I had that night. At social events, oh my gosh, I would consume a case of soda. I would do chicken pot pies, like 4 of them. And in addition to that, I would have TV dinners. And every single night after dinner, I would literally graze from the time I would stop dinner until the time I was ready to go to bed. It was a constant grazing every single night. And then when I was 16, I worked at the movie theater, okay? I was the popcorn maker. And I would come home with garbage bags filled with popcorn. And so my dad and I would sit there and watch TV and just graze and down so much popcorn. It was crazy. I was in the military, went through basic training, ate more junk food, refined foods, a lot of stress, no sleep. Then I went into college, more stress, lots of coffee, lots of junk food. Of course, they were all deep fried carbs and seed oil, but that's what I was living on. And of course, then came the ulcers. I had liver problems. I had gallbladder problems. I didn't know at the time that's what it was, but I had this very full, tight, painful feeling underneath my right rib cage that referred to my right shoulder. I had no idea that was my liver. But after the years of eating the huge bags of Doritos, I said, you know, I'm going to eat healthy when I graduate. That was my justification. I remember after I graduated, in practice, I would have a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream every single night before I went to bed. And I always wondered, why did I get restless leg syndrome? That was a severe B1 deficiency. I didn't know at the time. There I was, nervous and jittery, and I had to get the energy out. And of course, then came the insomnia. My eyelids were on fire. It was like sandpaper in my eyelids and very, very sticky and dry. That was a severe blood sugar issue. I had severe arthritis down my spine and my fingers. I got kidney stones. And you would think with all those problems, I would change my ways. I would try, but I would fail. I finally weighed 211 pounds. The food that I was eating was not really satisfying me. That problem was something completely different. It was dopamine hunger. Dopamine is stimulated with a lot of refined carbs and sugar, keeping these dopamine spikes going on and on and on. Dopamine is not a pleasure neurotransmitter. It's a neurotransmitter that causes drive, anticipation for something. It's something that your body learns from to want more and more of it, but it's not the thing that gives you the pleasure. The problem is it's a trap, because as this drive for more junk food occurs, you get less pleasure from it, to the point where the feedback loop sends a signal back telling the body to make more and more and more dopamine. What happens over time, if you eat a lot of junk food, where you have too much dopamine, you start getting resistance. And that little receptor for dopamine gets sucked into the cell to the point where you have fewer receptors. So now we have dopamine dysregulation. We have a problem with dopamine. And this is what's behind addictions, okay? And I had a severe addiction to junk food and refined carbs. And this is why ultra-processed foods initially taste good and they satisfy you for a little bit, but probably an hour and a half later, you now are hungry, but you're not really hungry. You have this neurotransmitter that's kicked in there, causing you to want that same thing over and over and over again. It's really a trap. And if you have this dopamine problem and you go back to real food, it doesn't give you the same sensation because your receptors are all messed up and there's confusion in the brain. So you just want more junk food to get more of this. So that mechanism was literally training me to go off track and want the wrong foods. So now let's talk about how to solve this problem, because the first thing you need to do is identify the real enemy. The real enemy is this. It's your environment, because our food system has been completely engineered for addiction. As soon as you're stressed, tired, or somewhat hungry because your blood sugar is off, you will not be able to have willpower. I don't care how hard you try, you're going to cave eventually. It's kind of like giving an alcoholic a job at a liquor store. They're going to end up drinking that alcohol. I mean, look what happens when you go into a grocery store. You have aisles of pure refined carbohydrate junk snacks. When you're hungry or tired, you will walk out with junk food, I guarantee. Recently, I went into people's houses doing videos on trying to teach them about what to eat. And I go in the refrigerators and I go in their pantry and I see the same thing over and over and over again. Just so much junk food. And they're in an environment where they are exposed to it constantly. And there's certain health experts that keep giving this advice. You just got to try harder. Everything in moderation. You just have to have willpower. It's all about calories. Just eat less. It's portion control, right? Take a look at Weight Watchers. What is their success rate? It's like 95% failure because they're trying to motivate people. The enemy is not a lack of willpower, it's your environment. We're living in this modern world, which is a trap with so many things engineered to keep us hooked and addicted. Removing you from all the triggers is really the only solution. That way, all these options are not available. There's only one option, and it's a healthy food. Let's go through step by step what you need to do to get out of the trap and focus on the environment first. Number one, clean out all of the ultra-processed foods out of your entire house. I'm talking about your refrigerator and your pantry. It's been making you sick. It's the stuff that causes disease and diabetes. It's not helping you. And to have this food in the house is not a good strategy. It's going to keep you going off track all the time. Now, I'm going to put a little link down below. And at the end of this video, you can go to it and you can download a free app. It's Dr. Berg Junk Food Meter to be able to scan these different foods one by one so you can really quickly determine what is ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods are really mostly made of three ingredients: seed oils, industrial starches, and sugars. If you think about it, what's missing from those ingredients? Protein. And then also foods that are not as calorie dense, that take work to break down and digest, and that would be vegetables or like a salad, right? Veggies. Because protein will help your blood sugar and really, truly satisfy you, and it's loaded with nutrition as well. Okay, so this is number one. Number two, absolutely, positively no snacking. Why? Because we're trying to correct insulin, and every time you eat, no matter if it's healthy or not, you spike insulin, and so both of these will help reverse the insulin damage. Grazing at night is the worst time to snack, so you should literally, after dinner, turn the lights off, put a sign there, the kitchen is closed, so that way you can overemphasize you don't want to be grazing after dinner. You want to be able to eat and then not eat until the next day. Number three, no food visible. So many people on their countertops, they have these little bowls of food. Sometimes they're healthy food. I would not keep that food out there. Keep all this food in the refrigerator or the pantry where you cannot see it, because just the visual cues are going to trigger dopamine. Number four, substitute foods. There are so many recipes for the things that people crave. I have a whole channel on this. I will put a link down below. So that way you can at least have substitute foods to gradually come off your addictions. Your junk foods. All right, number five, no blue light at night. The screens, the computers, the cell phones, that gives off blue light. And you should probably get a monitor that filters out a lot of this blue light. But the blue light severely interferes with your sleep cycles. If you're not sleeping, what's going to happen is your blood sugar is going to cause you to want to graze or eat the wrong things. So many people eat junk food because they're tired because they didn't sleep. Number six, the grocery store. Make it a personal rule that you never go to the grocery store unless you're fed first. And you have a list of foods you're going to get. Don't be just going there mindless, just looking around, what should I buy? What am I in the mood for? Because you're not asking your real self. You're asking, your dopamine self, and it's going to give you the wrong answer. When you go in that grocery store, okay, here's the grocery store, go around the perimeter, okay, don't go inside. That's where they have most of the junk food. Of course, they have the junk food when you check out too. But this facility is a trap. This is where people cave and they buy the wrong things, and then they bring it home, and then they have to keep saying no over and over and over again. I have finally gotten out of the trap. When I go to the grocery store, boy, I do not buy anything that's not on the list that I bring in there. But as I'm going through the grocery store, I'm looking around and I'm seeing these people, what they're buying. And I'm like, I'm not saying anything, but I'm like, wow, boy, I can see you have a spike in dopamine. Number 7, preserve your sleep. Sleep greatly helps stabilize your blood sugar and reduces cravings, big time. Number 8, social events. This is a killer right here. It's such a social, natural thing to give people sweets and certain foods that maybe they shouldn't eat, and maybe even go there and bring some food to share, and then that way you can have something to fall back on. So many times I've been to social events where they didn't have anything I could eat at all, and that was a problem. Do what you can to be more in control of this environment right here, and try to limit the damage control that's going to happen when you go to some of these social events. Some people, as part of their work, boy, they go to a lot of social events and they have to go out to dinner a lot. But you can personally be a trendsetter and maybe have the social event at your house where you can then control the food.